Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.
Hey guys, Amber here with the Meeple family, and today I am going to be going over 10 games that I think are great for the non-gamers in your life. If you haven't already, we would really appreciate you taking time to give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe. Now, before I start breaking down my top 10 non-gamer games, I want to talk about the criteria here. So we are dealing with a group of people that just kind of are like, like eye-rolling board gamers, okay? So they don't like board games, and I've kind of made this list based around some things that I think are often the reason that these people don't like board games. So in this list, we're looking for short games. We're looking for low downtime. You're not gonna have to sit there forever waiting for your turn to come around doing nothing, because I think that's where a lot of these non-board gamers get kind of like, they're over it, you know? They're not interested in taking forever for their turn to come around. So the last thing is just really simple rules, keeping it short, simple, and sweet. So my number 10 is code names. I feel like there's so many types of code names out there. There's definitely one that you could find that probably would interest your non-gamer friends. For us, if they've watched Disney, I feel like the Disney one is super good. If they haven't, or they're not really big into franchises, I would think just like the general code names is a really great one. It's fun, it's easy, people typically enjoy that one, and the rules are pretty simple for the most part. My number 9 is Celestia. This can play, I think, up to 6 people. And to me, this is a really easy one as well. It's, you're, kind of like on a flying ship and you have to decide how far you want to push your luck. So there's really no right or wrong in this one. It's just kind of like a feeling and a little bit of strategy. Okay, like I know they probably have the ability to play these 2 cards and I don't think we're gonna crash, so I'm gonna stay on the ship. And it's as easy as that. And the person that has the most points at the end wins. It's super simple. Celestia, I will be doing a review on this one later on my channel, but this is another one I feel like is really great for non-gamers, and the theme is cute, it's light, easy push your luck game, nonetheless, great option for non-gamers. Number 8, Sushi Go Party. Now, this one can be a little much for some non-gamers because there's different cards and they do different things, and that can seem overwhelming. But I do feel like if you pick the right assortment of cards where the iconography really makes sense, it's super simple. And even if they don't get it the first round, by the second round, as long as you use the same cards, it should be really easy for non-gamers to pick up and feel like they can enjoy and have a good strategy. Of course, for Sushi Go Party, you're dealt a hand of cards, you take one, you pass your hand. You're just drafting cards and placing them in a tableau in front of you. As I stated, the only, I think, part that's a little overwhelming for non-gamers is just making sure they understand all of the cards and how they score, because that can be frustrating if you don't have a good understanding how the cards work, you don't really know what cards to take. But if they can overcome that, this is a great game that most non-gamers really love. All right, number 7 is a newer game that I just recently reviewed called Framework, and this is a newer game by Uwe Rosenberg. I think this is such a great game for non-gamers because literally, you are just matching things together and trying to get out of your score tokens as quickly as possible. There's not a lot of analysis paralysis because there's only so many tiles out that you can choose from. So you're kind of stuck with what comes out and you just have to make the best of it. Framework does have some really great comboing effects that I think really intrigue non-gamers. So Framework is my number 7 great game for non-gamers. All right, number 6, Hey That's My Fish. This is such an easy game. It's so cute, it's fun, there's not a lot to it, the rules are so simple, it definitely hits all the criteria for non-gamers. In Hey That's My Fish, you're basically moving your penguins around and collecting fish. It's so simple, but it's so fun. And it's just a funny game too, because you can get your little penguins stranded. You can kind of have a little bit of take that, and that really entices some non-gamers. They may really enjoy that aspect of Hey That's My Fish. Next up, a good one, a classic non-gamer game, at least in our home, is King Domino. I feel like we can basically always get this out explain the rules and people are like, oh, okay, that sounds really easy. And it is typically a hit. Like 95% of the time, people really enjoy this game. And typically they're like, oh, can we play again? Usually right after we get done playing. I find that the biggest hang up with this game is just getting non-gamers used to the fact that depending on what you pick, that's your turn order for the next round. And then of course, like trying to score those bonus points, I feel like until we play it one time and they actually visually experience the game, that makes more sense and it's always more fun the second time you play. So King Domino is a great non-gamer game. Next on my list is a lovely little flip and write called Welcome To. This one we recently taught to some non-gamers, and I can tell you right now that the biggest hurdle was getting over the teaching of the like specialty bonus perks at the bottom. Like it's easy to tell people like, hey, put your numbers in order from 1 to 15 or whatever on the top part. The bottom part is a little bit more cumbersome to teach, and I can feel there's like this fine line of where they're almost ready to check out because it's a little bit overwhelming to understand all the comboing down there, like the pools and the parks and like the real estate investments. It can just get to be a little bit much. So you really have to pick wisely with the non-gamers you introduce this to. But there are some out there, I feel like personality-wise, where when I'm playing with certain non-gamers, I know that they're gonna like a game like Welcome To much more than any of the other games I had on my list, just based on their personality and things I know they enjoy. So Welcome To is definitely a great game. There is a little bit of a hurdle with that one because there is a lot of information on the cards, where to put fences, and then you're earning like the special North 1, 2, and 3 cards. It can be a little much, but if you're playing with the right non-gamer, this could be the perfect fit. Next on my list is Hanabi. This to me is a really fun, kind of goofy game. I don't think we've ever actually won this game because my memory is just terrible. I cannot remember. So this one, you're holding the cards away from you and like everyone else can see your cards. So it's one of those where you're communicating and you're trying to give other people clues on what cards they should play while trying to remember what clues people have given you about your cards. So this is kind of just like a fun, goofy one, and I don't feel like there's like an immense amount of pressure in playing this game. Another game similar to this, I guess, would be The Mind, where you're just kind of playing cards in order without talking. So kind of the same principle there, but these games I feel like are really great for non-gamers because there's not a lot of rules and it's just kind of like, oh, if we get it, we get it. If not, it was fun to play. That's kind of the way I would summarize these games. All right, I've got 2 more to go. So my second to last is Herbaceous. This is a really simple, light tableau builder card drafting game. I feel like this one is so quick, the rules are so simple, and it has just enough strategy, but it's kind of like Framework 2, where it's like, you get the cards you get and you just try to make the best of it. So I feel like in that way, it kind of keeps everybody on an even playing field. But I feel like Herbaceous has always gone over really well when I've taught it to non-gamers. So this would definitely be an option to try out. My last one, and absolutely #1 pick for non-gamers, without a doubt, Point Salad. Point Salad is so easy to teach. You never know what's gonna come up, so you just kind of teach it as you play. At least that's what we do. So it's like, hey, take 2 vegetables or take the objective card. Boom, your turn's done. Now just work with what you've got. And I feel like every time we've played this with non-gamers, they're like, oh, and you know, your scores are so high. So they're like, oh, wow, I did pretty good. And you're like, yeah, great job. You want to play again? And they're typically like, yeah, I do. That's usually how I know that it's a good game for a non-gamer, if they're wanting to play again. And Point Salad for me, every time, #1 game for non-gamers because it's easy, the rules are simple, it's quick gameplay, there's not a lot of downtime in your turns, and that just checks everything on my non-gamer game list. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this list, and if you have any non-gamers in your life, you'll have to try out a few of these the next time you get together with them. I have found that most of these have been pretty big hits with my non-gamer friends, and hopefully you'll find that too. But if you have any games that you find work really well for that non-gamer, let me know in the comments below because I'm always looking for new suggestions. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.